Hello everyone, welcome to my update US gossip channel. As Willow agrees to Michael's terms to see their kids, her alibi for Drew's shooting falls apart. Willow is stunned when she returns to Liz's and finds Michael there. Michael explains that he has been anticipating her. She expresses her concern for him, the children, and the rest of the family in regards to Monica. Michael was informed that their case had been postponed, and he says that it will be too long for her to be apart from the kids, so he wants her to see them. Willow is overjoyed, but confused. Why not now? Especially given that she is back with Drew. This invitation is only extended to Drew because Michael still does not want Drew to be near their children. Also, her visitations are to be supervised by a family therapist for 1 hour a week. Michael assures Willow that the kids will be focused on her and not the therapist, despite the fact that that is not a lot of time and that she fears it will confuse them. He believed she would be thankful. She is, but it still means he doesn't trust her to be around their kids. Michael asserts that he is free to give her this as a step forward. She is aware of that, and she is sick of fighting because it has made her into a person who has no children, no power, and few options. He suggests that she should swallow her pride and demonstrate that she truly does love their children. Is Nathan the real deal? Britt discovers Nathan changing into street clothes in his room at the hospital. He is ready to face his new reality, despite her shock at his discharge. He must reclaim his life at this time. Spinelli shows up, and Nathan asks if he brought James. Spinelli didn't, but he came to discuss James. Because Nathan is about to be released, Britt says this is not the time. Spinelli relents and leaves. Britt tells Nathan she has to get back to work, but they really need to carve out time to talk. She also heads out. In the hall, Spinelli confronts Britt to find out why she was concerned about James meeting Nathan. She felt it was a lot to handle for a little boy, but Spinelli thinks there is more to it. He observes that it is fascinating that both of Faison's children arose simultaneously from the dead. Spinelli believes Nathan has no memory, but Britt hasn't offered explanations as to where she's been. Britt claims that there is no big story. Prior to Jason's invasion of her privacy and quiet life, she was employed at a spa. Since she needs to deal with Jason, Britt doesn't know why she's talking to him. Carly is shocked. Joss cries to her mother at Carly's, telling her that Vaughn is a WSB agent and that everything they did this summer was a lie. She explains that she went to Jack's office to talk to him. She wanted to invite him to dinner with them to make up for how cold she had been to him. When Vaughn showed up in a power suit, she found out that he works for the WSB. Joss explains she confronted him, and Vaughn admitted he's been an agent for a while. Carly realizes that means Jack knew all along, and Joss could have been in danger. Joss claims she wasn't in danger, but Carly says she doesn't know that, and she needs to hear from Jack on this. On the pier, Jason can't believe Jack tapped Carly's phone and intercepted their meeting. He makes an effort to leave, but Jack is giving him a choice. Carly is unaware of the importance of Joss maintaining her cover. Is Carly knowing the truth about Joss more important than Britt's freedom? Jack has enough money to put Britt in Steinbauer, where she can spend the rest of her life rotting away, and Jason can prevent that by not telling Carly about Joss. Jason knows that keeping quiet is his only option, so he storms off. Are Jack and Carly over? Jack arrives at Carly's, and Joss heads out to give them privacy. Carly asks Jack how he could conceal the fact that Vaughn was WSB because he can tell Carly is angry. He says this was classified, but Carly doesn't care when it comes to her daughter. She yells that he put Joss in danger, but Jack says he made sure Joss was never in any danger. She says he lied to her and violated her trust. Jack reminds her that she knew he had to keep things from her, and she said she could handle that. Carly admits maybe she can't. Vaughn, on the other hand, meets Joss on the pier. He is surprised to hear from her because they are supposed to not talk to each other. Joss explains that Brennan instructed her that she must distract her mother so that he can silence Jason. Joss used what he taught her in training. She was sincere and informed her mother that he is WSB. Vaughn claims it was a smart move, and since Brennan made him second in command, Carly would have learned the truth. They talk about their time together, which is now in the past. Joss notes that knowing and accepting are two separate things. Will Britt come clean? At the hospital, Jason meets Britt and inquires about what she needs to say. She informs him that Spinelli is claiming that she is connected to Nathan's enigmatic return in some way, despite the fact that he is aware of this. Jason says she hasn't been upfront with him, and it's hard to help her when she keeps holding things back. He wants to protect her, but he can't because he doesn't know everything. Spinelli, on the other hand, returns to Nathan to discuss James. Spinelli feels that the boy currently needs structure in his life to cope with everything going on. With Maxie gone, Nathan can only imagine how they must be feeling. He acknowledges that he still loves Maxie and considers her to be his wife. He thanks Spinelli for showing up for Maxie and his son, and they are on the same page. He'll follow Spinelli's lead. Towards the end of the show at the hospital, Spinelli and Nathan agree that James comes first, and Nathan promises he'll be the father that James needs and deserves. Britt tells Jason she can't do this with him again. She instructs him to either prioritize her or remain out of her way. He says he'll do everything he can for her, but she says that's one of his classic non-answers, not the one she wanted, and walks away. At Carly's, she is trying to believe Jack wouldn't have let anything happen to Joss, and she wants to be right about him. She wants to trust him. He pulls her into his embrace because he also wants that. Vaughn tells Joss on the pier that their world changes quickly, so this might not be the end. He pulls her into a kiss. He tells her goodbye for now and walks off. Willow agrees to Michael's terms at Liz's house, stating that he is aware she would do anything to see her children. Michael says he'll get back to you and leaves. At the PCPD, looking over the suspect list, Anna asks Dante why they shouldn't restrict their suspects to those who have access to the Quartermaine place. According to Dante, the security system can be hacked. He mentions that Drew sneaked in last year to see Willow, and Michael was certain that Willow was the one who sneaked in and used Daisy as a target. Anna asks why she's just now hearing this about Willow. Dante asserts that Michael did not pursue it because he lacked evidence. Dante suggests that Willow may have been motivated to commit the crime by the loss of her children. Anna wonders if Willow has what it takes to be the shooter. Anna then gets an email, pulls it up, and it's footage of Nina's apartment building. Nina appears in the footage by herself, and the timestamp indicates when the shooting took place. This indicates that Willow does not have an excuse. Willow's alibi breaks down, and Michael gives her access to the children. Willow, according to Michael, kept sneaking in. Anna asks what he thinks of her as a suspect. They consider that. She shows him security footage of Nina on the night of the shooting. That ruins Willow's justification. When Willow arrives at Liz's and finds Michael there, she is shocked. She was hoping they could talk, and she is glad. She sends her sympathies to Monica. She has been worried about all of them. They discuss the visitation hearing being delayed until next year. He concurs that is insufficient time to keep her away from the children. She is astonished and perplexed. He still wants Drew nowhere near their children. She is moved by his reference to them as our children. He desires her to view them. They need their mother back in their lives. Willow cries. Michael offers to arrange for therapist supervision during her visits. 1 hour a week. She tells him how much time she hasn't spent with him. He claims that he believes this is best for the children. She says she is thankful, but this indicates that he does not trust her around their children. Is the therapist paid by him? Willow is concerned that this individual might testify against her. He tells her that he doesn't have to give her this chance. She is not fighting him, but having all of his power must be nice. Michael tells her to swallow her pride and prove she loves her kids by spending time with them. She agrees to his terms, not that she has much choice. Britt is taken aback when she sees Nathan dressed at GH. He explains that he will be released from the hospital and is eager to face his new reality. It had been months of silence, hesitation, and a tension so thick that it seemed to haunt every corner of Port Charles, the kind of unspoken strain that even those on the outside could feel. For Willow Tate Corinthos, the once gentle nurse whose strength had carried her through leukemia, betrayal, and heartbreak, nothing felt familiar anymore. Her world had changed since Michael decided to draw a line between forgiveness and distance, a line that not even love could easily cross. For the first time, the mother who had fought for her life just to hold her children close now stood on the outside looking in, desperate to regain what was once hers. When she finally agreed to Michael's terms to see their kids, it was not a decision born out of defeat, it was one crafted in quiet resilience, shaped by guilt, maternal love, and the deep ache of realizing that sometimes, survival costs more than one's pride. It all began after Willow's last confrontation with Michael at the Quartermain estate. The mansion, usually full of warmth and laughter from the family's younger generation, had become cold and heavy. Michael had built emotional walls after what he called Willow's series of broken promises. Her decision to keep secrets, from Nina's involvement in certain shady business ties to her own moments of emotional collapse, had made him question her judgment. Yet, underneath his stern exterior was a man still madly in love, a father torn between protecting his children and wanting to believe in the woman he once vowed to spend forever with. Their children, Wiley and Amelia, had become the emotional center of that battle, innocent souls whose lives now hinged on the fine print of Michael's legal and emotional terms. Michael's terms weren't cruel on the surface. He wasn't the type to use his children as weapons, not consciously at least. But his list of conditions, that Willow undergo consistent therapy, maintain supervised visits until trust could be rebuilt, and avoid direct contact with Nina Reeves for the foreseeable future, struck Willow like a dagger wrapped in reason. It wasn't the conditions themselves that broke her, it was the realization that Michael didn't trust her anymore. That the man who once called her the heart of his world now viewed her as a possible emotional risk to their children. And yet, she knew deep down, she had played a part in this erosion of faith. The chaos surrounding Nina's exposure as her biological mother had cracked open old wounds, wounds that had never truly healed. At first, Willow resisted. She couldn't bring herself to sign on to Michael's terms because it felt like surrender, as if she were admitting that she was unfit to be the mother she had fought so hard to become. Every fiber of her being rebelled against the idea that she needed supervision or approval to tuck her children into bed or read them a story. But the days without them grew longer, lonelier, and heavier. The silence in her apartment was deafening, filled with the echoes of